It came on a Tuesday in December, an email with a subject line so sterile, so utterly devoid of humanity, it felt like an insult. An update on our operational evolution. For the 20,000 employees at Aether AI, that evolution meant extinction. 15% of the workforce gone. The announcement landed not with a bang, but with the cold, silent finality of a calendar invite being deleted from your schedule. It arrived just before the holidays, a brutal punctuation to a year of record profits and soaring stock prices. The CEO, in a pre-recorded video that felt more like a hostage tape, spoke of synergies and leveraging next-generation efficiencies. His eyes never quite met the camera. The efficiency he spoke of was the very AI they had all worked to build. The code they had written, the models they had trained, the neural networks they had nurtured into existence. They had been made obsolete by their own creation. It wasn't just the junior coders and the data entry clerks. It was the project managers who had steered teams through 100-hour work weeks, the graphic designers whose creative spark had defined the company's aesthetic, the paralegals who thought their meticulous human-centric work was irreplaceable. All of them reduced to a line item on a balance sheet, an acceptable rounding error in the relentless pursuit of shareholder value. This wasn't just a layoff, it was a betrayal, a quiet digital betrayal. It was a validation of that specific 3 a.m. anxiety that jolts you awake in a cold sweat, the one where your heart hammers against your ribs as you mentally cycle through your mortgage payment, your student loans, the rising cost of groceries, and the terrifying, unspoken question, what if I'm not good enough? What if everything I've worked for disappears tomorrow? For years, we are told to be loyal, to innovate, to pour our best hours, our brightest ideas, our very identities into our work. We wear the company logo on our hoodies like a badge of honor. We call our colleagues our work family. We tie our self-worth so tightly to our job titles, our performance reviews, our place in the corporate machine, that we can no longer see where we end and the job begins. And then, one day, the machine decides it no longer needs a ghost. The cardboard box gets heavier with each personal item. The coffee mug, a gift from a secret Santa 2 years ago, now feels like a tombstone for 1,000 morning routines. The framed photo of a family vacation, a trip paid for by a bonus that now feels like a cruel joke. The little succulent plant on the windowsill that survived against all odds, a silent green witness to deadlines met and opportunities lost. Each one a relic of a life that was, until this morning, secure. This is the central crisis of our time, a crisis deeper than any mere economic downturn. It is a philosophical crisis. What happens when the ground beneath your feet is not just shaky, but can be deleted in an instant by a single line of code? What do you have left when the job is gone? The conventional response is logical. It is predictable. It is a frantic scramble for relevance. The diagnosis, handed down from the high priests of the modern economy, is always the same. You are falling behind. The solution, the only solution ever offered, run faster, get a new certification, master prompt engineering, learn the next coding language that will, in 18 months, replace the person who only masters the old one. Rebrand yourself on social media. Upskill your portfolio. Network until your smile feels like a mask. Hustle, grind, optimize. Become more efficient, more productive, more like a machine. This isn't just a modern phenomenon. It's the ghost of a centuries-old idea, what the sociologist Max Weber called the Protestant work ethic. An ideology that seeped into the bedrock of Western culture, whispering a dangerous lie, that your labor is a reflection of your moral worth, that your productivity is a measure of your virtue, your busyness a sign of your salvation. We traded the cathedral for the corporation, but the catechism of productivity remains the same. We treat our careers like a race against the algorithm, our peace of mind chained to the next market shift, the next quarterly report, the next technological breakthrough that could render our hard-won expertise worthless overnight. This isn't so different from the Industrial Revolution. The skilled weaver, whose life's work was woven into the cloth he created, found his life's work devalued overnight by the power loom. His hands, his knowledge, his art, all suddenly too slow, too expensive, too human. Today, it is not our hands, but our minds, our ability to analyze, to write, to create, that are being placed on the altar of progress. Look at the Aether AI situation. These were not mediocre employees. They were the best in their field, the artisans of the digital age, working at the pinnacle of their industry. And yet their loyalty, their skill, was no defense against a spreadsheet calculation that deemed them an acceptable loss in the pursuit of a higher stock price. This is the hamster wheel, the endless, exhausting, soul-crushing cycle of chasing external validation in a system designed to discard you the moment you become inconvenient. The Roman slave turned philosopher Epictetus saw this 2,000 years ago. He watched powerful senators and wealthy merchants be emotionally ruined not by poverty or exile, but by their desperate, clawing attachment to things they could not control, their reputation, their wealth, the favor of the emperor. We have simply updated the categories. We focus all our energy on securing the job, the title, the salary, things that are, and always have been, outside of our ultimate control. We are trying to win a game where the rules can be changed at any moment by players who do not have our interests at heart. It is a losing game. It has always been a losing game. But what if the diagnosis is wrong? What if the frantic race to keep up isn't the solution, but the source of the anxiety itself? What if the entire premise of the game is flawed? This is the turning point, the moment of quiet rebellion, the moment you stop asking, "How can I secure my job?" and start asking a much more profound, much more powerful question. How do I secure myself? The Stoics, living through the chaos of the collapsing Roman Empire, had a name for this. They called it the dichotomy of control. It is not an esoteric theory. It is perhaps the most powerful and practical tool in the history of philosophy for navigating a world you cannot command. It begins with a simple, ruthless separation of everything in your life into two categories: that which is up to you and that which is not. Your job title? Not up to you. The stock market's mood swings? Not up to you. The advance of artificial intelligence? Not up to you. The strategic pivot of a CEO in a distant boardroom? Absolutely not up to you. The Aether AI layoff was like a storm, or a drought, or an earthquake. It was an external event, impersonal and utterly uncontrollable. To rage against it is to rage against the tide. It is a profound waste of your finite energy. So what then is up to you? Your judgments about what has happened, your responses to the chaos, the character you choose to build in the face of adversity, the virtues you decide to practice, courage in the face of fear, patience in the face of uncertainty, wisdom in the face of confusion, justice in your dealings with others, your integrity, your resilience, your compassion. These are the things that cannot be taken from you. They cannot be outsourced to a cheaper market. They cannot be automated by a large language model. This is the raw material for what the Stoics called the inner citadel, a fortress of self, built not of stone and mortar, but of choices and principles. It is built brick by brick, with every choice you make, every challenge you face with courage, every insult you meet with calm, every setback you meet with grace. How do you build it? You practice. When you feel the pull of panic, you choose a moment of deep breathing. When you feel envy at another's success, you choose to practice gratitude for what you have. When you are tempted to blame, you choose to take responsibility for your own reactions. Each choice is a brick. Each virtuous action is mortar. The goal is not to stop the storm from coming. That is a child's fantasy. The goal is to build a shelter within yourself that no storm can breach. You stop trying to control the world outside the gates, and you turn your full attention to commanding the world within them.
Once you have secured your inner citadel, your relationship with the chaotic world outside begins to change. The walls of your fortress are not meant for hiding. They are a secure foundation from which to engage with the world. You are no longer defending, you are observing, you are adapting. This is where the wisdom of the East offers a powerful strategy. If Stoicism builds the unshakable mountain, Daoism teaches it how to have the wisdom of the river that flows around it. The core concept is Wu Wei. This is often mistranslated as doing nothing. It is better understood as effortless action or non-forced action. Think of water. Water does not resist an obstacle. It does not crash against a boulder in a futile, brutish attempt to destroy it. It yields. It flows around it. It finds the path of least resistance. It adapts its shape to the vessel it fills, all while remaining fundamentally water. To practice Wu Wei in the face of technological change is not to be passive. It is to stop rigidly resisting the current. The frantic hustler, chained to his external validation, tries to build a dam to stop the river of AI. He insists on applying his old skills in the old way, trying to force the world to value what it no longer needs. He will inevitably be overwhelmed. His dam will break. The wise individual, secure in their inner citadel, studies the current. They see the advance of AI not as a personal threat, but as a change in the flow of the river. They adapt. They move with it. They find new channels, new opportunities, new paths revealed by the changing landscape. As the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The layoff, the obstacle, is not blocking your path. It is your new path. For the laid-off AI worker with this mindset, their life is not over. Their path has simply been redirected. The destruction of the old path is an opportunity to explore a new one, perhaps focusing on the human-to-human skills that AI cannot replicate, starting a small business that fills a new niche, or pursuing a creative passion that was always relegated to the weekends. This is not about giving up. It is about intelligent surrender. It is recognizing that the most powerful and effective action is often the one that is in harmony with the way things are, not in brutal opposition to them. Your inner self, your character, your principles remains constant, like the nature of water. Your external strategy becomes fluid, adaptable, and immensely powerful. You don't fight the wave, you learn to surf.
The fear of being replaced by a machine is a symptom of a misaligned identity. It is the natural, inevitable result of rooting your sense of self in something that can be copied, optimized, and eventually deleted. Your utility is not your value. To build a life that can't be automated is to consciously, deliberately choose to root your identity elsewhere. It means valuing your character over your credentials, your resilience over your resume. It means focusing on the domains of life where humanity holds an unbreakable monopoly. The quality of your attention, the depth of your relationships, the integrity of your choices. AI can write an email, but it cannot have the clumsy, heartfelt, vulnerable conversation that mends a friendship. It can analyze data, but it cannot sit in silence with someone who is grieving, offering nothing but the profound comfort of a shared presence. It can generate a photorealistic image of a sunset, but it cannot stand in awe of a real one, feeling the cool evening air on your skin and the humbling beauty of the cosmos. The 20,000 people from Aether AI are not victims. They are people who have been presented with a fundamental choice, a choice we will all face sooner or later: to re-enter the hamster wheel, now spinning faster than ever, or to begin the more difficult, more meaningful work of building their inner citadel, of cultivating their unautomated life. This isn't just poetry, it is a practical path to freedom and peace in a world of accelerating chaos. It begins with 3 simple questions you can ask yourself in the face of any challenge, personal or professional. 1. Is this event, this change, this setback truly within my control? If the answer is no, then I will not waste my energy fighting it. 2. Regardless of the answer, what virtues can I practice in my response? Patience, courage, wisdom, justice? How can this challenge make me a better person? And 3. How can I move with this change like water instead of breaking myself against it like a rock? Where is the new path this obstacle is revealing to me? This is how you build a life that cannot be made obsolete. You anchor yourself in the timeless virtues that have defined human dignity for millennia, and you learn to flow with the temporary currents of technology and commerce. You cultivate a self that is rich, resilient, and real. You become the one thing in your life that no algorithm can ever replace: you.